right, Mark. So we'll start with you. I know your struggle a little bit, went through it with you. I know you were separated from your wife and your kids for a time there, and actually, led to divorce. But I just want you to kind of explain how you felt going through that.
Okay, I mean, it's been a long struggle. It's been about a decade, and first going through that, I just was really felt alone and broken. And at first, I began to just isolate myself from the things God had placed in my life to anchor me to Him. And you go through things like that, and at first, I chose poorly. I got bitter. I got angry. I pushed away people in my life that God put there to help me, and eventually I was just upset and blaming God and for not intervening in my circumstances. And I just remember with one of my kids, they were going through a conflict with my ex. Instead of trying to help them work through that, I kind of fueled that conflict. I mean, I'm ashamed to say that, but I just wanted somebody on my side walking through this, and I know that wasn't the right thing to do, but that's what I was doing in the moment.
Yeah, so even though you felt distant from God in that going through that, how did you see God working through that circumstance?
Okay, when I look back, it's been about 10 years, and I seen like what God was doing was trying to change me, but I can be stubborn and hard-headed, and I just remember walking into church the one time, and I was struggling with a lot of different issues, but one of them was with my finances. And I just remember walking into church, and I felt like God telling me, "Do you want my help?" And I'm thinking, like, what do you mean, do I want your help? And I was struggling with that issue, and through being broken in this stuff, I wasn't tithing anymore, and I just felt like the Lord wanted me to be obedient in that area at this point. And so at that service, I just emptied my wallet into the offering plate. And I'm like, okay, Lord, trying to listen to you here. But it's interesting because I'm kind of need to see God working. And that night I went to a friend's house, and they handed me this envelope full of cash and all these groceries. So God was just kind of telling me, like, look, I'm here for you. Don't keep leaving things out that I need you to do. And I just remember I had my family, my brothers and my sister-in-laws, and they were all there through all these different hearings and custody trials, and they were with me. But my brother had introduced me into a small group study with some men in EC Men, and it was interesting because that my brother stepping out in faith and starting this ministry was something that I needed to help me change. So, you get into this Bible study, and these men are pouring into your life, and they're texting you and praying for you and helping you through a lot of different circumstances in your life. And, as a man, I need that Christ-centered community. I need to be with other men that love the Lord, and they're going to encourage you. So I'm just so thankful that He pointed me in that direction.
Yeah, so I know it hasn't turned out quite the way you would have hoped at the beginning, but how has God given you victory through it?
Okay, for me, the biggest struggle was the last 8-10 years was just holding on to this bitterness against my ex and against some of her family. And God used some circumstances in one of my children's life to kind of show me, you think you're angry and you're bitter, and you think you can hide that, but everybody sees it. Everybody knows it. The guys in the Bible study could see that I was angry all the time and bitter. And I got a call from one of my kids from the school, and they were said, we're having issues with one of your kids, and they just wanted to share with me. They said that the thing that got them was, like, they were saying they didn't need to obey what the school was telling them because, my child said that, I don't need to obey. My dad hates my mom, and it doesn't matter anymore. So I was just so broken. Like, Lord, help me to course correct what I'm doing. I'm hurting myself. I'm hurting my kids. So when that child came again for the next custody thing, I took them with me, and I went to my ex, and I was broken, and a lot of it's my fault, some of it's other people's faults, but I mean, I just needed to, I went to her and just said, look, this war is over. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm not going to, if you need anything, you ask me for it. I struggle with giving my finances and different things extra, because I'm thinking, like, I pay child support, I do this stuff, but God's like telling me, look, I blessed you, Mark, now bless her. And so, you go there and you ask for forgiveness, and you just move on. And like that night was one of the best nights sleep I've had in a long time, just letting that go.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.